All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to now get into talking about the Steelers quarterback situation. Because there was an article that came out. Art Rooney II had some comments on the Steelers quarterback situation. So I just wanted to get into that and give you my thoughts. So, Art Rooney II said securing a quarterback is the team's priority, and it's his preference to sign either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson this offseason. And Rooney said it's unlikely that they're going to keep both. So which one would you prefer? Now, he also said, I wouldn't close the door, but I'd say it's probably unlikely. I think both of them see themselves as starters, and I don't know what they want to share. I don't know that they want to share the same job again next year. So I would say most likely we probably don't wind up bringing them both back. They're both capable quarterbacks, and my preference would be to sign one of them. So that'll be the priority, and I think that will give us the best opportunity to move forward. We've got a whole quarterback room to fill, so there's jobs open in there. I wouldn't be surprised if we look in the draft as well, either this year or next, and so that's got to be the priority. It sort of takes two to tango, so we'll see where it goes. I think my preference would probably be to have something more than a 1 year in place next time around, but we'll see what it takes. I think both Russ and Justin showed promise in certain stretches during the season, and I think they're both capable of being starters in this league. So we have decisions, and they have decisions too. My goal is to be, and this is what Russell Wilson said, my goal is to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers for a long time, hopefully finish my career there, God willing. I think you have to take that into consideration. That's a factor when talking about like the age disparity between the two QBs. Because Russell Wilson's 36 now, and Justin Fields is 20. Someone requested a trade in one of my leagues. Justin Fields is 25. And someone proposed a trade to me in fantasy. Let's see what it is. Speaking of Justin Fields, my friend offered me a second and a fourth round pick for Justin Fields and Jaylen Warren. And this is for 2026. No thanks. That's funny. It's funny how we're talking about Justin Fields and my friend, he's also a Steelers fan, so he's trying to get those Steelers on his team. But I'm good, because the problem is I end up doing that, and the only quarterback I have on my team is Jordan Love, so we're not doing that. But back to this, though. What should the Steelers do? So it seems like they're kind of set on bringing back either Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. And in the grand scheme of things, Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, they're not going to be guys that put the Steelers over the top. Now, who knows how the season would have played out if Justin Fields stayed the quarterback throughout and probably plays out similar to what transpired with Russ when Russ took over. But again, I don't think these guys are going to take them over the top. Maybe the Steelers go and they draft a quarterback, whether it's in this upcoming draft or it's next year. I think for 1 year, or maybe you sign one of these guys on a 2-year deal. I think maybe that's something they'd probably explore, bringing one of them back. I think you could get more out of... Now, I think Russell Wilson's the better passer of the two, but at the same time, Russell Wilson is not what he used to be. Like with Justin Fields, you could still see what you could get out of him. And, I thought, in the limited time that we saw him, he showed us some things with the Steelers. And, I think for the Steelers, one of the things I talked about with them is they lack explosiveness on this offense. And I think you need to add more, not just when it comes to the quarterback, but you need more around the quarterback. Like with Justin Fields, we saw what he did in Chicago, when he would run the football. Russell Wilson, you're not going to get that. In this new NFL, you got to have a quarterback that moves around a little bit. Now, Russ used to be able to do that. Obviously, he's getting older. Now, I do think, what Rooney said, I agree that both of these guys, can still be starters in this league. But to me, I look at them now as more of bridge guys as opposed to franchise quarterbacks. But I think if you're talking about both of them, who would you rather have? I'd probably take Justin Fields, just because at this point I could probably get more out of him than Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, he did some nice things for the Steelers, and he played well, but everything kind of ended the same when it comes to the Steelers. They ended the year losing 5 straight, and Steelers fans are just beside themselves because it's like, here we go, another year where you have a good regular season and then you're an early round exit. And Mike Tomlin, look, he made a bold decision by taking Fields out. I was a little bit surprised that they pulled the plug on Fields. I thought, look, Fields put them in a good position. I thought they were going to keep rolling with him, but Mike Tomlin said Russ is the starter. Russ has always been considered the starter all along. Finally got over the calf injury, and then he was inserted in. And again, he played well at certain times, and he still can make some good throws. He made some good throws this year. But again, he's not the same player. He's not. And that's why I think, if you take a guy like Justin Fields over Russ, I feel like that would be the better decision. But my prediction is I think they'll keep Russ, and then they'll move off of Justin Fields, and Justin Fields will go elsewhere. I mean, who knows? Maybe Justin Fields, signs with the Giants or something. I don't know. That's my prediction. I think they'll bring back Russ, and then maybe you draft a quarterback and you have them sit behind Russ, and you hope that maybe they turn out to be the guy. I don't know. So maybe you bring back Russ on like a 2-year deal or something. Maybe. That's kind of how I see it. But, you need a quarterback that can compete in this conference. Now, fortunately for the Steelers, the Browns have more issues with their quarterback situation than they do. So at least you kind of have like a leg up on them. But I know they beat Lamar Jackson this year and they beat Joe Burrow this year, but next year is going to be different. I think the Bengals are going to be a much better team defensively. So you're not going to be able to walk into Cincinnati and, drop 44 points on them. You're not. So, the Bengals are going to be a better team. The Ravens, I mean, for some reason they always, they struggle against the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I know there's that narrative out there, and there's some truth to it about Lamar Jackson and him struggling against the Steelers, but it's really when it's in Pittsburgh. When's the last time? I mean, the Steelers won in Baltimore last year, but the Ravens were resting their starters. I think the only time, and then Lamar Jackson, was hurt the last couple of years. In 2020, yeah, they beat Lamar Jackson with Ben Roethlisberger, but that was when there was no fans. So, yeah, like I said, probably struggles against them in Pittsburgh. But, we saw what he did against them in Baltimore, and he lit them up. The Steelers need a quarterback that can compete with those two guys. And who's that going to be? It's not going to be Russell Wilson. It's not going to be Justin Fields. So, but the problem is the Steelers are kind of in no man's land because they never have a season where they're picking in the top 3 to take a top quarterback. So that's why, they're going out and, in 2022, you sign Mitchell Trubisky, you draft Kenny Pickett, and you're hoping Kenny Pickett's going to be the guy. He obviously didn't turn out to be the guy. And then, you run it back last year, Pickett gets hurt, Trubisky doesn't play well, and then you put in Mason Rudolph and you make the playoffs and you get eliminated by the Bills. And then you tried to change it up. You bring in Fields, you bring in Russ, and it looked like things were going to be a little bit different. You thought the Steelers were going to be hosting a playoff game, and that just didn't happen. Didn't happen. So, yeah, the Steelers are in a weird spot. I mean, I think some fans, I think, probably want them to just tank and just blow everything up, but they're not going to do that. So, I don't know. But, like I said, I think, for me, I would keep Fields, but I think the Steelers, they're ultimately going to keep Russ. That's my prediction. So, you know, as many of my other predictions have gone, maybe go with the opposite. Say, all right, well, they're definitely going to keep Fields now because you said that. Who knows? But yeah, it's going to be. I'm excited for this offseason. You know, I'm curious to see where some of these big names end up going. These receivers, like, could we see DK Metcalf and Tyreek Hill get traded? You know, what's going to happen with Sam Darnold and Fields and Russ? You know, we'll find out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, though. Who do you think the Steelers ultimately stick with? Is it Fields? Is it Russ? Let me know. All right, so with that is pretty much it for the show for today. I apologize if my voice sounds a little off today. I'm battling a little bit of a cold. You know, my throat has been kind of bothering me for the last week or so. It's gotten better, but, you know, I'm hoping I don't get sick like I did, you know, the beginning of football season, because that was rough. I don't even know what it was. You know, it wasn't. I mean, it was just some kind of respiratory infection, but yeah. I hope I'm not. I mean, I feel better than I did then, but, you know, yeah, my throat's been bothering me, so that's why, you know, if I sound a little weird, that's the reason for it. So hopefully, you know, we get over it. But like I always say, only time will tell. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the show for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out all the other shows as well. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the video. And until next time, I'm Kenneth Grunfelder signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.